Yo, 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 what you dig? I want to tell you today about the greatest console to ever hit the market. The Soulja Boy game console from my boy, Soulja Boy, the famous rapper, the one, the only. He is making his own game console, and he is selling it for $149.99, which is a total steal considering this console is going to blow the Xbox 360, the PS4, and the Wii Switch out of the water. When in fact it's actually just a cheap Chinese knockoff console that he's buying for $32 on Alibaba and selling to you for $149.99. So I wanted to talk about this console because I didn't know that this console existed, much less that you can buy this thing on AliExpress for $53. And basically what this is to be very specific, they took essentially the same chip that's in a Comcast TV box, they threw it into a console, put Linux on it, and tried to make it run some ROMs. And then they give you two controllers. That's essentially what this is. It's basically a cable box that's designed to run ROMs, and it runs ROMs like shit. But Soulja Boy is making a killing selling these things. And of course the thing is well, these are pirated ROMs, so you'd expect that he would get sued by Nintendo. And according to MTO News, he's getting sued by Nintendo. Except the problem is that the site, that says that Soulja Boy is gonna spend 10 years in jail is totally untrustworthy. This is a gossip site. And then when you go down here and you click on their source, which apparently no one who did a video on this on YouTube bothered to do, well, I shouldn't say no one, but very few people. When you go and click on their source, it takes you to Walmart to buy Nintendo products, because there is no fucking source for this. This is a fake story. He's not getting sued, which made me wonder even more, why is Soulja Boy not getting sued for selling this cheap knockoff clone console? And so one of the things I heard on the internet, this was from some random person that just said this, so I haven't been able to collaborate or find any correlating info yet, but is that what I've heard is that Nintendo doesn't want to sue these Chinese game manufacturers because if they do, gamers in China will perceive them as anti-China, and then they'll stop buying Nintendo products. And if you don't know, China is the biggest games market in the world. So if they do that and that happens, they'll lose a lot of money. Like a lot of money. So as a result, you can buy these things on Amazon. Here they are. It's $90. $105 on Sears. I've seen similar retro consoles on JCPenney. I've seen some being sold on Target. And this got me wondering even more. So I started digging around and I found this forum on GameStop. Chinese console ripoffs. And a couple of comments that stuck out are this one. I was actually planning on starting a thread. Every Christmas season I see kiosks set up at the mall that sell consoles loaded with dozens of NES games and ROMs. They always come with a control, blah blah blah. Most of them appear to be commercial games. Some of the names of the games have changed, i.e. the Super Jumpman under a picture. I'm seeing these things being sold at malls in the US. I don't understand how this is possible in a country where grandmothers are being sued because their grandsons are downloading movies onto their computers. As clarification, the consoles I'm seeing for sale don't actually look like any current or past gen consoles. They're just loaded with seemingly illegal ROMs. So basically they're these. So you can go to the mall in America and you could buy these consoles with 800, 600, 1,000, 3,000 illegal pirated games in the States. Why isn't Nintendo doing anything about this? That's what I'm wondering. So I started, I read down here for some of them. My guess is they are illegal completely. When I first saw these, I looked online and saw many people had reported them to Nintendo, and Nintendo claimed they were illegal and action would be taken. Years later, they persist. It is possible the copyright has expired on them. This happens. I know that Disney slightly alters their movies every so often to keep their copyrights intact. I'm not sure if that is... So he's basically saying... or I'm sorry. I know Disney slightly alters their movies every so often their copyrights and to keep the copyrights. I'm not sure if this is what I'm guessing. Nintendo did not do this. Either way, the fact that they are sold in, say, my mall leads me to believe that they must be legal. Otherwise, they wouldn't still be there after years. So something's interesting. Since it isn't a criminal matter, but instead a civil one, it requires a company like Nintendo to press a suit against the company knocking off the product. The reason they're still on the shelves may not be simply because Nintendo didn't think they had a case, but instead just didn't think it was worth the time to pursue. Trial costs money, blah, blah, blah. I find it interesting that one company that did go after the people knocking off their console and actually successfully stopped them quickly exited the industry when their console that was being knocked off then failed. It just seems highly strange that Nintendo would not protect its important IPs. I know that Nintendo is officially investigating these things at one point, which suggests they figured out it wasn't worth their time, or something came up to stop them from pursuing. So, if you don't know, China had a ban on game consoles up until 2015. And that was recently, just, a couple of years ago, that was lifted. So now these manufacturers can manufacture these really kind of garbage game consoles and sell them in China. Something the thing is that if Nintendo isn't pursuing these guys in China, I don't think there's anything stopping Soulja Boy here from selling this way overpriced version of the same thing in the States, because you can already buy it in the States. Nintendo's not doing anything. In fact, they December 14th, Nintendo's NES Classic, or NES Classic and SNES Classic are going out of production. They've decided to stop producing SNES and NES Classics. Maybe because these consoles were specifically designed to compete against these consoles. And these consoles are a hell of a lot cheaper. And you're wondering, well, why would they I mean, I don't know if that comment was right, but I don't think that Nintendo is going to do anything. Because if the first thing I would do if I was Soulja Boy's lawyer in that is I'd ask, why are you allowing these things to be sold on Amazon? Why are you allowing them to be sold at Sears? Why are they being sold in malls throughout America? Why? Is it because you don't want to go after Chinese competitors? Because then you would be seen as anti-China? If so, if you go after Soulja Boy, that's discrimination. Because you're discriminating against who you're going to enforce your intellectual property rights against. And then that means that what Soulja Boy's doing is legal. I mean, that is one possible outcome, especially since they're not doing anything to stop these guys. They're not stopping Steers. They've been selling these things for years. What's going on here? Why are they canceling the SNES Classic right after Soulja Boy starts selling his shitty knockoff? Is it because now that thanks to Soulja Boy, we're all gonna know the jig is up? Um, so I don't have any articles to collaborate or corroborate what I'm saying or what the commenter said, but it seems to me that nothing's gonna happen to Soulja Boy. So I want to know what you think. If anyone knows anything more about this, I'd love to find an article that talks about how Nintendo is not going at why they're not going after these Chinese manufacturers, why they're allowed to be sold. I mean, all I can find is we're all guessing. A whole bunch of people are guessing, and they've been guessing for years. Why is this happening? And now everyone, and this article, this one's fake. It's a fake news story. Nintendo hasn't done anything yet to Soulja Boy. What's going on? All right, let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And is the age of really crappy Chinese emulation boxes here? Can you just buy these things? I mean, if they're not doing anything, they're not protecting their IP. Can anyone make a shitty console and then put a bunch of like pirated games on there and sell it? Because that seems to be the precedence that's being set. I this is interesting. All right, thank you, and leave a comment.